And we almost made it out. It was the first time we had ever gotten pulled over by prison cops. And how could we not drop in on our friends at CERT, the Computer Emergency Response Team? These are the guys who tell the world when there's a threat to computer networks. They'd back us up and tell the world that Kevin Mitnick posed no threat at all to NORAD, Christy McNichol, or the American way of life. We thought computer people worked odd hours, but these guys apparently took Saturdays off. So we asked the security guard to come down and let us leave a pamphlet or two. There must be something that gets triggered whenever you say Kevin Mitnick's name. We were meeting far too many cops in so brief a period of time, but at least Pennsylvania was living up to its name. We explained why we were there, but wound up getting the message we expected.
You're not welcome.
Okay.
In the event,
we're used to that.
In the event that you should maybe happen to come again, if you are not welcome, and I find out that you are not welcome, you will be exactly where Kevin is.
Okay.
And then you'd be defeating your purpose. Well, I'm here to do the job, but my job is right now is to
Get us out of here.
get you out of here.
All right, well, I understand
So
that.
I know a lot of people is in prison that probably shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You know, but that's our judicial system. You know what I mean? That's what it's in place. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. And believe me, I've seen it not work in the favor of my people many, many times. I'm gonna go to parlay the rest of this, my Thaddeus job is to run you for wants and warrants and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
If you would expedite your leaving.
Okay. We'll get out of here. We'll head for the border right away.
Okay.
We're
1-9 radio.
1-9.
Okay, gentleman's been given a standard warning. I'll give you his name and stuff.
Before we left, we decided to check the mood of the street.
He told me not to mess with her. She did everybody she could in the weeds, and then she moved to the projects. It's not Kevin's fault. Free Kevin. Kevin has nothing to do with it. The broad quit me because I was an alcoholic and I wasn't making no money. And I was broke. That's why she quit me. The reason I don't have a girlfriend is I don't have no money. Oh, wow. He seems like a nice guy. Why would you want to do anything to him? Will you think his girlfriend's going to quit him or something?
It was time to go.
We was peeling potatoes back in World War II. And we was playing that rock and roll at the school for you-know-who. Hidden from the public, it was behind the scenes. There was a relic they called the purple hair.
With Kevin Mitnick locked away, the phone companies of the world felt safe from any possible intruders, but the fact remained, lots of people were exploring all the time, online and off.
Allied Signal, Aerospace, Morse Print PCS up there, Informix, Southwestern Bell Mobile System.
You're scaring me. It's like this flat area where there's like no trees or anything, just industry.
Yep.
Oklahoma, the state that created Hanson. People kept telling us our sound guy looked like one of the Hanson brothers. And since we happened to be going through their hometown of Tulsa, we figured we'd go to one of Tulsa's bustling malls and turn the Free Kevin campaign into a Hanson campaign. We could use the publicity, and if we could confuse some Tulsans in the process, all the better. And it sure wasn't hard to do that. Once we finished confusing people at the mall, we headed over to Oral Roberts University in the hopes that the religious right would climb on board. When the vice president of the university, a former federal agent, came down the stairs with a golf club, we took the hint. There wasn't a golf course for miles.
They had a hard time getting into my place. I had the bedroom door closed, so I did not hear their pounding on the door. And they were pounding on the door out there for a good 10 minutes or so. They actually even started calling on the cellular phone and leaving messages on my answering machine. You know, this is the FBI, we're at your door, you know, open up.
I wasn't there when they searched my house. My mom had to come get me from school. My dad was the only one home. They thought that he was me. They were looking for somebody that was an adult. And when they found out that I was like 13, they just they didn't know what to do.
You know, I think if when they walk in and they want to take things, they should be told to go to hell, take what they want, we'll see you in court, don't even talk to me. And I think the problem, of course, is that hackers don't have the resources to do this. They want to try to get off cheap, so they cooperate and they plea bargain, and they end up pleading guilty to something they didn't do. Okay, and that sets the record bad for them going forward. I think if people had the resources, or if there were an organization dedicated to helping people, to providing the resources, you know, something that's much more than just a dummy front, such as the EFF, an organization that's actually truly willing to help in those matters, that we'd see a lot more progress along those lines. You know, the government, for once, would have to start conforming to the same laws that they're supposedly enforcing.
We were detained for about 2 hours there in the parking lot. There were 13 police officers and I think 5 or 6 police cars. And I told them what was going on, but they seemed to think there was more going on than there was. And without my consent, they took my box of crystals, even though they admitted there they didn't know what they were.
They took anything and everything that, you know, had magnetic media on it or had an electrical plug on it. They took other unrelated items, such as a woman's purse. I'm not quite sure how that fits into the scope of their investigation. Every business card I had, you know, everything. They took everything just to make life difficult on me.
They told me they're not trying to chastise me. And then one of them said he used to play with baseball cards when he was a kid or something.
They would be searching my wardrobe. I'd be standing there with the guy, he's asking me questions, and he's going through every pocket in my wardrobe. You know, then it suddenly dawned on me, I don't have to stand there. So I walked out of the room. He stopped searching the wardrobe and walked out, you know, with me. So it was very obvious. Their tactics weren't meant to actually accomplish something. So, you know, searching every pocket of every shirt in my closet. That tactic wasn't meant to do anything except intimidate me.
They showed up at my friend's house, and where there was a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old who'd just been put to bed, and they came storming into the house with guns drawn. And ran up the steps and said, "Freeze, Secret Service, don't move." Of course, I was sitting at the keyboard of a computer, so it looked extremely dangerous. And I was thrown to the floor, handcuffed and hogtied and all that, and dragged out. I told my friend Ellen Fisher, who was there, to call my lawyer, which she did. They kept telling me to shut up. So I was taken back to the police station there in Havertown, Pennsylvania, and locked in a cell for about 3 hours while my car was searched, and then a Secret Service agent interviewed me or interrogated me and wanted to know what I was doing with these crystals, and I just said I was just making them available to people. And he tried to get me to say I was committing fraud with them, which I was not, but he got very irate that I wasn't telling him what he wanted to hear, and eventually they just locked me back in the cell again. And they refused to let me call my lawyer, and in fact my rights weren't read to me either.
There were several instances in which I told them I wanted to consult with my attorney, and they told me, no, that's not a good idea. They wouldn't let me get an attorney. So finally, when they all shifted from my apartment to searching my office, actually at work, I got to drive down in my own car. I called an attorney on the phone, and by the time they were at my work, so was an attorney. And The agent in charge, Ken McGuire in particular, gave me a very nasty and disappointed look at the fact that I was willing to protect my rights. It's really amazing. He really gave me one of these, you know, you're bad, you shouldn't have done that looks, now you're really in for it.
NASA people told my parents I was cocky because I told them to choose harder passwords.
You know, I had cops, you know, tell me pretty well straight out that, well, you know, we really didn't want to harm Junior, and so we just took his computer and we gave it to the boys over in traffic management, and it was just really groovy. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you know, you took this kid's equipment there? Well, actually, it was his dad's, but, you know, he was using it, but, you know, Dad should have known better. And so, you know, hey, this is what, $4,000 worth of equipment full of heaven only knows what content, and you just sort of like pocketed it, basically. I mean, and you're not going to charge. Well, you know, look, if we charge him, we got to bring him up under, you know, 14 different interstate laws. He's going to be a felon. He's going to be ruined. I mean, we explained this to them, and they were like, oh yeah, take the machine, please. But, you know, that's not legal. There's nothing like legality there. I mean, it's blackmail, basically.
I mean, it's like with anyone else. Simply because you have a badge or something doesn't give you the right to be an asshole. You know, unless you'd like me to be an asshole back to you. I don't care who you are. You will obtain the respect from me that you earn. Period.
I may have hacked NASA, but who doesn't? I mean, it's...
They say they clocked us at just under 100 miles per hour on the interstate in New Mexico, and the cop wouldn't let us go until I gave him my social security number. And to make matters even worse, he told us we were still 11 hours away from Vegas. Things seemed pretty bleak. But then, a miracle happened.
All right, yeah. Whoa. He said 11 hours, man. We made it in 2.5. Highway Patrol people, they don't know what they're talking about. All right, Las Vegas, let's do it.
Red light city gonna set my soul. It's gonna set my soul on fire. Got a whole lot of money that's ready to burn, so get those stakes up high. There's 1,000 pretty women waiting out there. They're all waiting, the devil may care, and I'm just a devil with one to spare. So viva Las Vegas, viva Las Vegas, viva Las Vegas. How I wish that there were more than the 24 hours in the day. Even if I ran out of speed, boy, I wouldn't.
Sorry. All right, we're looking for the DEF CON conference that's taking place now. We're supposed to be filming here.
DEF CON?
Yes. Right. It's like computers, computer hackers.
Not that I know of. Were they gonna start inside the computer and work their way out, or?
No. It's huge. It's about 1,000 computer hackers coming here.
I've never heard of it.
Boy, they must have done a good job keeping this quiet.
They even got me going.
Plaza Hotel, Las Vegas.
Plaza Hotel, Las Vegas, New Mexico.
New Mexico.
It was a mistake anybody could have made. Except nobody else ever seems to have made it. But at least if we were still in New Mexico, we could stop by Los Alamos National Labs, home of well-guarded nuclear secrets, and one of the many places Shimomura had mysterious connections to. If we could get the word to the people here, we just might turn some heads. In those few places where we actually did get in, we always seemed to stay a little too long, looking at all the things we weren't supposed to be looking at. This guy was mean and told us to get the hell out. And as we left, we noticed more of these weird guys in fatigues all around the building. That's when we got lost on a dark road with no name in the middle of New Mexico, with a bunch of military zealots surrounding us. We got the message.